The knock didn't sound loud. That's what scared me. It was soft, careful, like whoever did it already knew I was home. I remember checking the time because my phone was still in my hand. 3:12 a.m. Not 3:10, not 3:15, exactly 3:12. I hadn't fallen asleep yet. I was lying on the couch with the TV on mute, scrolling through my phone, half listening to the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the house settling. Normal night, quiet neighborhood, suburban Colorado. Nothing ever happens here. The knock came again. 3 taps. Slow, even, intentional. I froze. Not because I was scared yet, but because my dog didn't react. Max usually barked at everything. Cars, wind, people walking 3 houses down. But this time, he didn't move. He didn't growl. He didn't even lift his head. He was sitting in the hallway, staring toward the front door, completely still. "Hello?" I called out, hating how thin my voice sounded. No answer. I stood up slowly, my bare feet cold against the hardwood. I remember thinking how stupid it was to answer the door at that hour, but something felt expected, like ignoring it would be worse. The porch light was already on. That hit me hard. I never turn it on unless someone's coming over, and I hadn't touched the switch. I moved closer and looked through the peephole. No one. Just the empty porch. Snow piled near the steps, the old oak tree swaying slightly in the wind. Then the knock came again, this time closer. Not from the door, from inside the house. Behind me. I spun around so fast I nearly lost my balance. The hallway was dark. The light near the bedrooms was off. But I could see the shape of Max sitting there, still not moving. Then I heard it. Breathing. Not loud, not heavy, just present. Like someone standing very still, trying not to be noticed. "Max," I whispered. He didn't look at me. He was staring at the guest room door. The guest room I hadn't opened in weeks. I reached for my phone, hands shaking now, and dialed 911. I didn't even let it ring. I hung up the second I heard movement. The guest room door creaked open, just an inch. The breathing stopped. Something shifted inside the room. The floorboard popped softly under weight. I backed toward the kitchen, grabbing the first thing my hand touched, a butcher knife from the counter. My heart was slamming so hard I thought I might pass out. "Who's in my house?" I yelled. Nothing. Then, very calmly, a voice answered from the guest room. "You invited me." My blood went cold. "I don't even know you," I said. "Yes, you do," the voice replied. Male, low, familiar, but wrong, like a recording slightly out of sync. The door opened wider. I couldn't see his face. The light from the living room stopped just short of the doorway, leaving the inside of the room swallowed in shadow. But I could see his outline now. Tall, too still. His head tilted slightly, like he was listening to something I couldn't hear. "I've been here all night," he said. "You just didn't notice." That's when I realized something that made my stomach drop. The TV. It was off. I hadn't turned it off. And the house was suddenly silent. No fridge hum, no wind, no creaks, just the sound of my own breathing and his. I took another step back. The man stepped forward. Light touched his face for the first time, and I felt something inside me snap. It was me. Not exactly, but close enough that my brain refused to process it. Same height, same hairline, same scar on the chin from when I was a kid. But his eyes were wrong. Too dark, too empty. He smiled the way I do when I'm nervous. "You left the door unlocked," he said. "I always do." "I'm calling the police," I said, raising the knife. He laughed softly. "You already tried." My phone vibrated in my hand. A notification. Missed call. 911. The screen went black immediately after. The lights flickered. Max finally moved, standing up slowly, tail stiff, ears flat. But he didn't bark. He walked past me, toward the man. "No," I whispered. The man knelt down and rested a hand on Max's head. Max didn't resist. He didn't whine. He didn't even look afraid. "He knows me," the man said. "I smell right." I bolted. I ran for the back door, heart exploding in my chest, slamming into the glass so hard my shoulders screamed. It wouldn't open. Locked. I never locked that door. Footsteps behind me now. Calm. Unhurried. "You can't leave yet," the man said. "You're not done." I turned around, knife shaking in my grip. The hallway light turned on by itself, and suddenly the house felt occupied. Like I wasn't alone anymore. Like I never had been. I didn't attack him. That's the part people always ask about later. Why I didn't rush him with the knife, why I didn't scream louder, why I didn't break a window and run. The truth is, my body wouldn't move. Not because I was frozen with fear, but because something about him felt familiar in a way that shut my instincts off. Like standing too close to a ledge and realizing your brain is already calculating the fall. He stepped closer, slow and deliberate, hands relaxed at his sides. "I didn't break in," he said calmly. "You left me space." "I don't even know who you are," I whispered. He glanced around the house, like he was remembering it. "Yes, you do," he said again. "You just forgot." He pointed toward the front door. "You stopped locking it after your divorce," he said. "You told yourself the neighborhood was safe. You told yourself nothing bad ever happens here." My throat tightened. I hadn't told anyone that. "I watched you," he continued, "for weeks. You come home at 6:40. You sit on the couch. You scroll until your eyes hurt. You don't turn on the bedroom light because it reminds you that you're alone." I took another step back until my shoulders hit the wall. "How did you get inside?" I asked. He finally looked directly at me. "I walked in." Silence. "No alarms," he added. "No cameras, no locked back door. You made it easy." He smiled again, small, controlled. "I came the first night just to see if I could." My stomach twisted. "I stood right where you're standing now," he said. "You walked past me twice, once to get water, once to let the dog out." Images flashed through my mind. Empty rooms, normal movements, nothing out of place. "And you stayed?" I asked. "Yes." "Why?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked over to the hallway mirror. He stood in front of it, and for a second I saw us side by side. Same posture, same tired slouch. "Because I wanted to see what it felt like," he said quietly, "to live your life without being seen." I felt sick. "You hid," I said. He nodded. "Guest room, closet, crawl space above the laundry. You never checked those." I thought about the noises I'd ignored over the past few weeks, the occasional thump, the unexplained drafts, the feeling of being watched that I brushed off as anxiety. "You stayed because you're sick," I said. "No," he replied. "I stayed because you made room." He turned back to me. "I don't take from houses that fight back," he said. "I stay in the quiet ones." My phone buzzed again in my hand. This time, it stayed on. 911. Connected. The dispatcher's voice came through faintly. "Sir, are you in danger?" The man sighed. "See," he said, "you always wait too long." He moved fast then, faster than before, not attacking, blocking. He kicked the knife out of my hand, sending it skidding across the floor. "I don't want to hurt you," he said. "That ruins the point." "What point?" I yelled. He leaned close, his breath warm against my ear. "That you won't tell anyone the truth." Sirens wailed in the distance. His expression changed. Not fear, disappointment. "Looks like tonight isn't the night," he said. He stepped back, raising his hands slowly. When the police arrived, they found him standing calmly in the living room. No weapons, no resistance. He told them everything. That he entered through an unlocked door. That he hid for weeks. That I never noticed. They arrested him without incident. Max went crazy when they put the cuffs on him, barking, snarling, losing his mind like he'd just woken up from a spell. Later, the police searched the house. They found signs. Food wrappers in the crawl space. A blanket folded in the guest room closet. Notes. Pages ripped from my old notebook, filled with observations written in my handwriting. But I didn't write them. The officer tried to reassure me. "He's a drifter," he said. "Severe identity fixation. Happens sometimes." But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part came 2 days later. I went to the station to give a final statement. They brought me a photo lineup. I recognized him immediately. Same face, same eyes, but a different name, different history, different state. I asked the detective one question. "How long has he been doing this?" The detective hesitated. "Since at least 2009, he said. He stays with people who won't notice, leaves before they do." I swallowed. "Has anyone disappeared?" The detective shook his head. "No," he said, "but most never realize he was there." That night, I locked every door, every window, every latch. Still, I didn't sleep. Because once you know how easy it is for someone to live in your house without you seeing them, you never feel alone again.